I'm Francisca Kakra-Foss and welcome. The Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Nagrat, says government does not respect teachers. The association is also accusing government of ignoring issues bordering on their conditions of service in spite of countless efforts to get their monies. The teachers say government has refused to pay their annual incremental allowance in the last 3 years, as well as other benefits. Greater Accra Nagrat Chairman Rene Senyo Kwame Koko addressed the news conference this morning. On to other stories, and Accra Circuit Court has cleared Let My Vote Count Alliance to go ahead with a repeat of their demonstration on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. Join News' Fred Smith was in court and joins me with more. Hello, Fred. Okay, we do not have Fred on the telephone, but we can play a video of that.
Void, it's no longer in operation, and therefore the court has decided that if the police intend to stop this demonstration, they have to initiate another process to do that, and this time they have to do so on notice. And it's 24 hours to the date the demonstrators say they will be going, and so it makes it impossible for the police to do anything about this situation. So we've been speaking to them, and the main question I put to some of them was the fact that the police have indicated their men will be engaged tomorrow in an operational activity, and therefore won't be available for to police a demonstration. They're saying that, well, it's not their business to find policemen. Their business is to go on the streets, and the police will have to sort their problems out. And so they're going ahead regardless of the difficulties that the police say they have.
You're watching Johnny. Let's take a quick break. We'll bring you more stories after. Welcome back. There's police and military presence in Babisi, a suburb of Batanga in the Upper East region, following violence on Saturday evening, which is believed to be related to chieftaincy issues. 5 people who are reported to have sustained gunshot and machete wounds were rushed to the Batanga hospital for treatment. Upper East Regional Police Commander, in an interview, urged the youth of the community not to take the law into their own hands. Albert Sori also spoke to us earlier on News Desk.
The police and military personnel have been there since yesterday morning and been to the community today. Everything is calm. The security are still there in very high numbers, trying to make sure that there aren't any further violence.
Albert, bring us up to speed about casualties so far.
Well, the casualties are 7 in number. They are currently receiving treatment at the Batanga hospital. Some of them sustained bullet wounds. My checks at the hospital revealed that one of them went through surgery early yesterday. Now, later yesterday night, 3 more of them went through surgery because they found out that there were some pellets in their bodies and they had to be removed. I'm told that later today 2 more of them will be going through surgery, but I'm told that these ones are minor surgery. So all of them are still in hospital receiving treatment as far as the casualties are concerned. This particular community has been since February this year. Now, there are 2 royal gates who are claiming entitlement to the Batanga Chieftaincy skin, and they have been at the center of this controversy since that time. We know now that 1 person from each of these 2 royal gates, are currently holding themselves out as the chief of the Batanga traditional area. The matter is being looked at by the regional House of Chiefs, and there may even be a court case. But that is what is creating all this problem. There were 2 occasions when violence broke out in this area, mainly because of this particular chieftaincy dispute. This Saturday's incident, last Saturday's incident, I should say, was the third this year as far as this matter is concerned. The police have told us also that they know that this particular one was related to the same chieftaincy dispute. The shootings were done in the night, and people sustained bullet wounds. Others, told, were attacked with knives and machetes. And these are the people who are in the hospital. And the houses were also burnt. Yeah, so generally that is the situation. It's been happening for some time now.
Dozens of supporters of failed parliamentary aspirants of NDC for Cherepone and Yagba Kuburi have besieged the NDC regional party office in Tamale, demanding the reinstallation of the DC for Cherepone, Hajia, Mary Nakobu and Mohammed Ali. The two were asked to step down from the race to parliament for working for the NDP in the last elections, an allegation their supporters disagree with. General Secretary of the party, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, disclosed yesterday that the party will refund the monies of the 7 aspirants who stepped down midway in the vetting process. Let's get on the phone line and speak to Hashmin Mohammed in the northern region. Hashmin, what's the next line of action for these supporters?
Regional executives, and the regional executives have promised them that there's still a grievance hearing process, and the 2 failed aspirants can write to a grievance committee of the party, and they will be taken through the processes for their grievances to be heard.
So, Ashmin, the line didn't come quickly, but what you're saying is that they went to the offices to express their grievances. Is that the case?
Yes, that is the case, because the supporters are saying that if the committee are accusing the Cherepone district chief executive of having worked for once upon a time worked for the National Democratic Party, they are asking why that same rule didn't apply when they were vetting Dr. Mambua Roxon, who used to be the General Secretary of NDP and later on stepped down. So they are saying that the vetting committee were not fair to the district chief, the Cherepone district chief executive, Hajia Berry Dako. But the director of elections for the region has assured them that their grievances will be attended.
And how did they respond to the assurance given by this authority?
Well, they left there satisfied, and they said they will be waiting to hear the outcome of the grievance.
Okay, so we can now watch or listen to the interaction we had with the spokesperson of these aggrieved NDC supporters.
Answers this morning is that our candidate who was contesting for the primary yesterday came for the vetting, and during the vetting, the constituency executives claimed they didn't know him, and the party regional executive advised him to wait and meet them this morning. And to our surprise, before we went to bed last night, we saw it on the media that they've added his name to the number of people who have stepped down voluntarily. If somebody comes to contest an election or go for a vetting, and the constituency executive said they don't know the person, why is it that you couldn't even ask the person for his side of the story? You asked him to wait till this morning, and now you've added his name to those who have stepped down. This is why we don't what we don't understand. As we stood here, this man on my left is a former constituency secretary. They all knew the guy. He has been working for the party in the constituency, not today. They are claiming that when he came for the vetting committee, they asked him to show his membership card, and he produced Tamale South membership card, the Tamale North membership card, which is a fallacy. He never showed any membership card belonging to anywhere. They didn't even ask for his membership card in the vetting committee. We are surprised that the director of elections for the party in the region this morning is on air claiming that Mr. Mohammed Ali was disorganized, he was not organized, and they advised him to stay away and then come back next time. All is lie. We can't take it. Look, we know where all those calculations are coming from. The incumbent or the one who is going with us is manifesting all those things.
Who is this man?
This is Alhaji Abdurrauf Tanko, the current Hajj Board chairman. You understand? And we are finding it very difficult to understand what they are doing.
What is Alhaji Abdullahi Tanko doing?
He is also contesting with us, and he is currently not there.
So what has he got to do with this?
Why we are saying so is that if this is the first time somebody is contesting him, why is it that the constituency executives, even when they were coming from the district, Muhammad Ali gave them transport to come down to Tamale, and you come and sit there and say they don't know him, and we know the relationship they had with him back at home. And we are from the grassroots. All what the constituents are telling us is that if Alhaji Tanko should go again, the seat will go back to MPP again. And that's what we want to avoid. Yes. This is what we want to avoid. We want a candidate that can take the seat from MPP back to where it belongs to. Right. You, Alhaji Tanko, we are not disputing the fact that he hasn't done anything for the people of the area. You have done your part. But the people are telling you that where you have gotten to, they've appreciated what you have done. Let another person also come in. And they are calling on Muhammad Ali to come in. And another fallacy we are hearing is that Muhammad Ali is not a native from the area, which is a fallacy. Muhammad Ali's grandfather...
There are reports of a gas shortage which has hit the New Jobbing municipality of the Eastern region as over hundreds of taxi drivers and domestic gas users queued for long hours. Meanwhile, some of the taxi drivers are blaming the government and other relevant stakeholders for the shortage. The news teams visited confirmed only Koigan gas filling station has stock to sell, although not enough to serve taxi drivers and domestic gas users. Some taxi drivers say they queued as early as 5:30 a.m. and waited hours for the commodity, but to no avail. And up till now, they still don't have gas to buy. According to them, they have expressed worry about the situation and called for governments to intervene in order to supply the product. Let's take a break right now. More stories coming up after. Welcome again. 2 people were shot for chieftaincy disputes at Dutch Commander in the Central Region over the weekend. The 2 are receiving treatment at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. Police have not yet spoken about this, but Richard Kojo Nyako has been following the story and joins us on the telephone line. Kojo, has there been any development since the shooting occurred?
Well, the only development I can report is the intervention of the police, but they have not confirmed to me whether an arrest has been made concerning the skirmishes that occurred at Dutch Commander and resulting in 2 people sustaining some gunshot wounds. And the 2 people, I visited the hospital this morning, and they were recuperating. The doctors were sent to operate on them to remove the bullets. So as of yesterday, the bullets were still on their neck, and one was in the head. Because of the critical nature of the wounds that they sustained, the doctors were very careful in commencing operation yesterday, and so they said that they needed to administer a lot of drugs to ensure that they make sure that they wouldn't even feel the pain that much before they can commence that. But one of the doctors remarked that it can lead to some kind of mental some complication, and so they need to be very careful before removing the gunshots from the bullets from the heads of those 2 people, the 2 people who are recuperating at the hospital.
Well, Kojo, have you been able to contact their relatives, or did you spot them at the hospital?
Yes, I met some of the relatives at the hospital, the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, and what they have been representing to me was that these 2 persons who were affected were not part of the confusion that even erupted. They were just playing their football game nearby, and so it's a case of some stray bullets that hit them, and so immediately they were concerned, particularly concerned. Hospital where they were receiving attention.
And have you been able to get their reaction to the possibilities in terms of the outcome of the surgery that we are hearing from the doctor?
Well, the doctors this morning have not said anything about the condition of these two persons. What they said yesterday was that they need to be very careful, otherwise they might end up losing these two persons because they lie in very critical condition. But they said that the chances are about 50-50%, and so they will be very careful in saving the lives of these people.
How are residents in the area reacting to all of this?
They are shocked. They are really in shock because it's a chieftaincy conflict that has lingered on for a long time. You know, in that commander now they have two factions and they all have nominated chiefs. And so when the festival so happened, each of them wanted to carry their own persons as chiefs. And so there were protestations all over. And that led to some skirmishes. But immediately the police went there. They did have the security in that area. And so yesterday in the morning was a kind of a follow-up to the incident that happened on Saturday. And so that is what is happening. That the residents are calling for adequate security in terms of some reprisal attacks so that they can, the security people can fall any attacks that come.
Okay, we'll leave it here. That's Kojo Nyako from the Central Region. Thank you very much. Now, the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Nagrat, says government does not respect teachers. The association is also accusing government of ignoring issues bordering on their conditions of service in spite of countless efforts to get their monies. The teachers say government has refused to pay their annual incremental allowance in the last 3 years, as well as other benefits. Greater Accra Nagrat Chairman Rene Senyo Kwame Koko addressed the news conference this morning.
Every year, we are supposed to be giving salary increments in our appointment letter. Every year, be giving salary increments. But for the past, for 2011-2012, government refused to pay that arrears to us. You know, when they started single spine pay policy structure, they stopped payment of some allowances, and we're told that we should hold on when we are on the single spine, then those allowances will pay to us. They pay portion of it, but they refuse to pay the others. That's what we are talking about. The second, because I'm transfer grant, when you transfer somebody from a station to another station, the person will move its family to the new place. The person needs money to move that thing. And it's stated clearly in our collective agreement that you pay the person 2 months gross salary as transfer grant. And government transfer people, but refuse to pay that money to them.
Why do you think government is not paying if it's
I don't respect this profession. Government of the day does not respect this profession, and we don't want to be lawless.
Why do you think so?
We don't want to be lawless people. We don't want to go and invade anybody's institution or anybody's house before our salaries have been paid. You understand? Because these issues are something is dehumaning. I don't know how to. It's very bad to see people work for several months and you don't pay them. They have to borrow from their relations or from their neighbors to take out to school, and when it after 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, nothing to take home. How do you treat people like that?
You've been negotiating with governments for some time now. I mean, you are emphatically accusing government of refusing to pay. Are you sure they are refusing? Because, I mean, we've all been told that we are in difficult times.
What we are saying is that we are not making new demands. These are 2011-2012 salary arrears, which government ought to pay. And the money is not any huge money. You understand? The money is not a huge money that the government cannot pay.
So you think all your efforts are not being appreciated?
Yes, and yes, government is not trying to help teachers in this country. And we call on teachers, wherever you are, when the time comes for us to go on strike, please don't go to school, stay at home so that the government will feel the pinch. You know, some previous government did very well for us, but this government does not respect teachers.
Why do you feel the government does not respect teachers? I mean, because we all do know teachers are a very important part of nation building.
Your guess is good as mine. I don't know. And the effect is not today. In the near future, we'll see how this demotivation thing that the government is doing on our nation, Ghana, which we are not happy to be facing such problems in the future.
But we'll stay with this issue about disrespect coming from Nagrat, and in the Upper West region, they are giving government up to 30th September to address these concerns of their monies that are owed them. Now, the Ghana National Association of Graduate Teachers has given Government up to Wednesday to carry out its obligations. Otherwise, they will advise themselves. Addressing a news conference in the Upper West region, the regional branch chairman of the association, Pius Larry Azuma, said government over the years has disrespected teachers by deliberately failing to give the teachers what is due them. And the teachers penciled some of the issues they want government to address before September 30. They include the annual incremental credits you heard earlier, 3-month allowance pay policy for newly recruited and also newly recruited teachers, and also they want some promotions. We'll turn our attention away from teachers and their concerns. Now, the Volta Lake is arguably one of the biggest water bodies in Ghana and beyond. It's a tourist destination many visit annually. Joint News editor Martha Krentel Aqua visited the estuary end of the Volta Lake and reports something else other than fishing is happening on the lake.
We know the Volta Lake to be full of fish, but what we didn't know is that it's also a place for sand winning. Now I am learning for the first time that there are natives here who actually win sand from this lake, and some of them are getting fine sand, others are getting black sand, and others are also getting sand that you can use for mortar for building without using chippings. And so I am joining them here to find out more about that. Let's get more detail from what they are doing here.
We have assorted of sands.
Okay.
We have smooth.
Okay.
We have rock sand, pebbles, gravel, and the black sand.
Okay, so this is one lake, but you have assorted sand.
Yeah.
Where do you get what? How do you know where to get what?
Yeah, we definitely know where they've been allocated.
Who allocated them?
By God. By the government.
So how long have you been doing this?
For about 2 years ago.
But way back before you?
Our uncles have won it about 15 years ago. Okay. So they got to know where exactly the type of sand that you need is located.
So those coming have the black sand, right?
Yeah, they have the black sand.
Okay, what do you use the black sand for?
They use it mainly to blast ships. They sell it to Therma.
Okay. How do you weigh? Like a trip of sand, normal trip of sand, how do you sell it?
It depends.
Okay.
The gravel is a little expensive. It's 330 Ghana per cubic meter. We sell the truck according to cubic meters.
I saw you diving into the water.
Yeah,
and then
this is manually.
Manual, okay.
Yeah, it's manually.
But do you have some people using machine?
It's a white man down to Australia. He is using machine, but ours is
Manual.
Small scales. We charge according to boat. One boat have its charge, and then the women have their charge. So it's according to the number of boat that they carry. If one boat is 3 Ghana cedis or 4 Ghana cedis, at the end when they carry about 6 or 7 or 10, and then you have to multiply and divide it by the number of people that carried.
Okay. How many have you carried so far today? How many tons have you carried?
20.
20. So by the close of day, on a normal day, how much will you get?
Maybe 5 cedi or...
You get something, but don't you feel pain in your neck? It's so much.
I'm coming.
You let's go. Tell me, I'll go with you. How much? How do you feel pain? Do you have to take painkiller by the time you close your head?
My head or my body or my leg.
I see. Every Sunday, every Monday, they come around. Maybe I should try to carry one. Can I?
An Accra Circuit Court has cleared Let My Vote Count Alliance to go ahead with a repeat of their demonstration on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. Joy News' Fred Smith was in court and joins me in the studio. Fred, so they went to court, the group went to court to ask the court to quash a restraining order that the police sought to prevent their demonstration.
Yeah, Francisca, I recall on 22nd of September there was a demonstration by the same group, And before that, the police went to court to seek an order to restrain them, and they did that ex parte, which means that they went without their knowledge. So once they secured this order, it meant that there were certain areas that the demonstrators could not go. Parliament House is one, Electoral Commission Office is another one, which they had indicated in their statement to the police that they were going to go. So they could not go there. It was for them to agree a different route with the police so the police can allow them to go on the demonstration. That was possible. But now, following the violence that occurred on the 22nd of September, there's bad blood now. They can't negotiate. And so the Let My Vote Count group went to court to ask the court to quash that restraining order.
The court didn't quash the restraining order.
Yeah, they didn't quash, but it came up in court today that since it was filed ex parte and on the 18th of September, after 10 days, the law says it should expire. So it's expired. There's no order in place for the court to even quash at all. And so
I bet they were happy to hear this.
Well, they're very happy about this because the police in the earlier communication have said that they were not going to allow them to go on this demonstration because their men are not going to be available tomorrow. They cited this operational exercise that their men will be engaged in. So the group are very happy.
Have we heard from the police?
Well, I've been speaking to the regional police command. The PRO there is Chieftaincy, and she's been telling me that they've scheduled a meeting for later today in response to the latest developments from the court, and therefore they want to sit and re-strategize because their men will not be available tomorrow.
This is an internal meeting.
This is an internal meeting for the police. Then they will communicate or take the necessary action. But as we understood from lawyers for the Let My Vote Count Alliance, Atani today, he's explaining that it's impossible because if they have to go back to court, it will have to be on notice. And on notice, the time frame is too short. Less than 24 hours to do this, and it's almost impossible to do that. So it means that there's green light for the demonstrators to go ahead. The difficulty, however, will be that there will be no policeman on the street with them.
Realistically, this planned demonstration for tomorrow had been hanging until today. Let My Vote Count. Can they be able to, or will they be able to organize people for tomorrow's demonstration, bearing that in mind?
Well, there's experience from the 22nd September event. They had already assembled people, and right from then they had indicated that another one was coming off this week. And so almost everybody who attended that may be interested. And in court today, we saw some of those who participated and got injured. Gabia Sarah is one of them who was in court too.
Okay.
And it's a sign that the people are there and willing to join.
Okay, we'll see how it all goes down tomorrow. But thank you very much. That's Fred Smith. He's just returned from court. But let's get the latest updates in business. Provisional estimates from the Statistical Service show that by December, the economy will be worth 140 billion Ghana cedis, representing a sharp increase over the last year. This could reduce the public debt in relation to the total value of the economy. It could also bring some relief to businesses and Ghanaians when it comes to taxes and investments. Jodriafe has more.
With these new numbers from the Statistical Service, the country's public debt, which stood at 83 billion Ghana cedis as of July this year, representing 62% of the GDP, will obviously come down. If there isn't any new borrowings or sharp depreciation in the Ghana cedi, this could possibly lead to the rating agencies, World Bank and the IMF review its high credit risk tag on government, or warning to investors that government might have some challenges in paying its debt on time reviewed. The development could lead to the cost of borrowing for Ghana going down, which will also reduce the amount of Ghana cedis that the state set aside to pay these debts. It could also prevent government from hiking tax rates if funds borrowed are not invested in projects that could pay for itself. The growth in the economy might also encourage some investors to bring in their capital, since the prospects might be good for them in terms of funds invested. The 140 billion monetary value value being put on the economy could also mean that on the average, or the average income of 27 million Ghanaians has increased substantially to a little over 5,000 Ghana cedis. Another variable that could encourage global supermarket giants like Walmart that when they come into the country, the income of citizens might be good, or there'll be a lot of disposable income to purchase their products.
Workers in the agri sector are demanding government gives the sector the needed attention by increasing investments to prevent revenue declines. Edward Caraway is General Secretary of the Agricultural Union Workers.
We need a number of policies that will deal with the agriculture sector, and we also need another cluster of policies to deal with the industry, particularly manufacturing. You can see that the crops sector has recorded a negative growth. That means that we need, why are the crops sector declining? Because they depend largely on the weather for agriculture. When the rains are erratic, when the rains are unpredictable, what we can do to deal with that is to embark on irrigation agriculture. Make sure that water is available as and when the farmers need the water. So irrigation is the way forward. Besides that, we need to also pay attention to industry, because I do not understand why the financial and insurance sector will grow at that phenomenal rate, yet agriculture is declining.
Industry players are banking their hopes on a projected rebound in cocoa production here in Ghana as bad weather increases possibility of a shortfall in Ivory Coast. Analysts are projecting dry weather in Ivory Coast could lead to a global deficit in the upcoming season. But the project's recovery in Ghana's cocoa sector could stem the situation somewhat. Daryl Kwao has more.
Analysts are forecasting a 100,000 tons reduction in Ivory Coast production, a major disappointment for that country after bumper harvest recorded in the 2014-2015 crop season. This could result in Ghana closing the gap to meet the shortfall in supply of beans on the international market because of this development in Ivory Coast. Although Ghana failed to meet production expectations the previous year, there are fresh hopes the situation would get better this time around. Ghana may not be spared the effects of the bad weather situation, but mechanisms put in place to deal with the previous year's low yield could prove helpful. Cocoa output from Ghana could recover to 850,000 to 900,000 tons next season, according to analysts.
The Bank of Ghana has denied directing Sunyani-based microfinance company DKM Diamond not to pay interest on customer deposits. The company last week reopened its operations to the public after a 120-day moratorium by the Bank of Ghana to enable a pay of customer deposits. Some customers have, however, been upset after months of waiting, saying they have been denied interest on their deposits, a decision the company says is a Bank of Ghana directive. But speaking with Joy Business, head of other financial institutions at the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amanfo, said that cannot be the central bank's directive.
We have not given any directives to them that they shouldn't pay interest. What we have agreed and we have settled them is that we have frozen the account. We have released the funds that were seized from them because of the moratorium. We have released that to them since 18th. They are supposed to commence payment of liabilities to their clients. That is the directive we have given them. And they are not supposed to take any fresh deposit.
That's it for Joy News today with me, Francisca Kakra Force, and log on to myjoyonline.com for more news.